Hey everybody, my name is Ramsey Fox, and this is Battle Chef Brigade. I got my Battle Chef Brigade apron on here. I'm going to be showing off a speed run of it, submission for AGDQ. This is Battle Chef Brigade. It's a indie puzzle game from Trinket Studios, a three-man team out of Chicago, released in 2017 for pretty much every platform. This is the PC version. Found this has the shortest load times, and that's going to cut quite a bit off of our out of our run here. So we're going to get started. The category I'm going to be submitting is normal mode. Hard mode adds about 10 minutes, and what you get out of that 10 minutes is just some tougher puzzles and tougher monsters. The monsters hit harder, have more hit points, and the targets for the puzzles are a little higher. I don't find that really adds too much strategically to the run, or really anything particularly interesting outside of like maybe the first fight or so. So we're going with normal mode. Estimated time for the run, you can see there that 1:04:11 is the current world record. That's my world record time, and it's what we're going to be running against today. And we'll get started. 3, 2, 1, go. So we are in the land of Victusia, a land of monsters and high fantasy. You got humans, orcs, elves, dwarves, that kind of thing. And the wildlife has been mostly replaced by monsters, so we've adapted, and we're cooking them. We're the protagonist here, Mina Han, and the cooking is a match 3. You match 3 of a gem, and it upgrades into a higher level gem. There's 3 tiers of gems. You see I'm matching down to level 2 earth gems, and then that's a level 3 earth gem. Level 3 is the highest. Now we're gonna go refill our pantry here. The game is meant to kind of simulate cooking competitions a la Iron Chef or Chopped or the like. Ooh, I missed you. But unlike those competitions, you have to cook, you have to hunt the ingredients you get. So right now we wanted a 50-point dish. So the eggs are a good way to get that. If those little cheap birds eat an ingredient, they'll make an egg for you, and those eggs are pretty strong point values. Our sister Saskia is going to teach us some of our moves here. Mina is has wind magic. She's kind of like a rogue type. Got some dash movements, got some teleports and daggers. We're going to equip her cookie jar over that bag. That's an important little bit that's going to save us some time here in about 20 minutes. The reason I like this game, that I think this is a good choice for a marathon, is it's really interesting. It's a really interesting mashup of puzzle games and Brawler, a platform combo-based brawler. Very unusual mashup. I think it has a lot of interesting visuals. I think the visuals are gorgeous. Eric, the artist, hand drew everything. All these backgrounds and characters. And unlike other puzzle games, it actually has routing. You can actually route out a good amount of the game. There's not that much RNG that actually affects the run. And we're going to be showing off as much of that as we can. This is our first taste of a battle. We slept through... We got a bit of a lag there. We slept through orientation. So, learning how the battles work. Basically, the story to this point, we've run away from home. Mina is tired of working in her mom's kitchen and wants to join the Battle Chef Brigade. And to do that, we're entering the Proving Tournament. It's a series of these cooking battles where we cook a dish for judges with mystery theme ingredients, and we're judged on their taste. which is just a score based on the gems that you make. Scoring is a level 1 gem is 1 point, level 2 gem is 5 points, level 3 gem is 25 points, and if you match the judge's requested flavor, in the case there it was Earth, you get a bonus 50 points.
Welcome, chefs tomorrow.
It's chapter 1 there, sort of tutorial, learning the basics. Gonna move on to chapter 2, more of the meat of the game. Gonna learn about the mini games in town and learn more about the characters there. So there are 3 mini games you can complete each day to gain more money. We've routed out as many as we can because they're time consuming, but we do need money. We could beat the game with just the money we start with getting no money at all. But it is faster to get some money. So this is Belchior, does the puzzles. You just have to kind of match down the ingredients. He's got lots of cats. They're named after cheeses. It's the most adorable thing. Probably heard some meows there. We're going to go meet Huntress Thorn now. She'll teach you some more moves and more about the monsters and the area and the different areas. There's pretty much 3 basic biomes or realms or areas to hunt monsters in. That's the forest one. It's kind of the basic one, the starter one. Both the hunt and the puzzle gave us 25 money. We're now going to Pontita for the restaurant rush. It's kind of a match the request. The customer has a requested flavor, and you just have to get that gem sequence to appear anywhere in the dish. The puzzles and the hunts are 25 gold apiece, and this one is variable based on performance. The better you do, the more gold you get, and we are absolutely going to be taking advantage of that to help us skip several additional puzzles. Oop, that was better. To skip several additional tasks later. This is about a minute, 15 seconds of this. In the actual marathon setting, these are good donation times. We have to do this about 4 times. The Trinket Studio guys are great. They may be available for guest commentary. Definitely not guaranteed. They did it at the ESA marathon with Tricro, one of the other runners of this game, just a month or so ago. Oop. Basically, we are kind of hampered by the fact that there are only 2 pans. Oop. Nah, not the best ending there. A little clumsy. We got 47 gold. Pretty standard. That's a pretty standard run for the most part. Getting more than that's pretty exceptional. We're now going to spend some of that money we got at Louie and Louie, the 2-headed Cyclops, and their cooking store here. We're going to buy them out of everything and challenge Thrash for our first battle proper. What we bought is we bought some starter ingredients, some jerky, some dew, some grass. There are 4 consecutive level 1 ingredients. And we bought a fire pan. The fire pan, it turns the game from a match 3 into a match 2, but only for fire gems. Conveniently, the first judge wants fire. And here's our first battle. That's Chairman Common, kind of a very blatant nod to Iron Chef there. And normally you're expected to go out, kill some Bowrin, get some ingredients, cook them down, go back out and repeat. It's a 5-minute battle. We're not going to be spending 5 minutes on any of our battles, much less the first one. We lose half our points up front for not including the theme ingredient, but we get 50 points bonus added on afterwards. If the 50% came off of the end, we would have to completely revamp everything. But because the bonuses are added on afterwards, we can skip the theme ingredient several times. Our movement is kind of this dash hop. And as you can see there, the hop button, the jump button is the same as the talk button. So if you accidentally misplace your jumps, you're going to end up talking to people, and that's going to slow you down. But basically, the dash is our fastest movement. And if you jump in the first few frames of landing, you keep your forward momentum. So we do that as often as we can everywhere. There's a little buffer there. I have to hold the trigger button to leave, but I can actually buffer that, hold it while the scene's kind of loading. Hey, how we doing? Recording videos for GDQ submissions. I'm going to be getting the GDQ submission out in the next day because they're due on Wednesday, so I'm definitely working on that. So I'm really talking it up today. This is Leonid. This is Instructor Meriden. She wants water. We're definitely going to give her water. She also wants a dragon. We're not going to give her a dragon. Dragons take way too long to kill. Too dangerous. We're not going to do that. We do need a water sauce to drop, so hopefully there's one in this chest. There's not. So now I need to get one from one of these cheap cheese. The cheap cheese will eat the ingredients like they did in Chapter 1. But you can also break the eggs and get a water sauce instead of a premium ingredient. So if that water sauce isn't in the chest, it costs us about 20 seconds worth of time. So we're definitely going to have a pretty big time loss. But that's not too bad. That is unfortunately one of the big, I mean, it's not a big RNG part of the run, but it does exist. Yeah, Wolf, I am going to try to go to SGDQ this year. We got the rainbow droplets there. Thrash gave us his dragon necklace. Each of the competitors will give you, not drop, they'll give you their sort of signature thing. Some of them are combat-based, some of them are ingredients. And for the most part, they're not particularly useful for us in the speed run here. Our next fight, however, is a big exception. It is the most important item we get in pretty much the whole run. The books are the other important things we're going to be getting. That first book is not particularly useful. The books give you 25 or give you some amount of additional points for basically showing off. And that book was for using all of the ingredients that a monster drops. If you use all of them in the same dish, you get some bonus points. That's a little tough to do. We're not going to be doing that, and that's not worth a lot of points. Some of our later books, though, are worth a lot of points and are worth doing. Hey, maybe see you there. That'd be great. I spaced those fires out, because if you put them together, it's actually going to match kind of backwards. And that's actually not good. I went and grabbed 2 Verskit. It is a Verskit battle, so we are going to use the theme ingredient this time. And one of the other keys in this game is maximizing the time you spend multitasking. While gems are matching, you can't match any additional gems in that same pan. And there's no way to speed up the match. So if you can spend that time, say, turning in a different dish to a judge while the other thing is matching, that's some extra time you can gain. during the Belkier puzzles, that's all I'm trying to do is keep things matching at all times, because that's the only way to go that's the fastest you can go, is if you're constantly matching things. That's as good as you can get. Caesar gives us the Stoics pan. Instead of a match 3, it's a match 4, but you go from level 1 straight to level 3. So that's a big gain. And conveniently, we have those starter ingredients, which are 4 level 1 ingredients. We're going to be using that for... That is going to be enough to get us through pretty much the first 30 minutes of battles. This is our last fight of Chapter 2. We're fighting Ziggy, the Necromancer, Deus Ex Machina, fourth wall breaking, one of the heroes, and an added playable character in the recent expansion for the daily challenge and survival modes. He's a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing with. This battle, Windfruit battle, the Windfruit are at the top of the map, and it's on a cycle that loads when you load the map. Those pods are only open for a few seconds at a time. So I put that water in the pot to start with, and then rush up there to grab the Windfruit before the pods close. If I don't get there in time, it's about a 5-second time loss while I wait for them to open up again. Yeah, that's not bad. Usually I use the element pot as... The match 2 is very important for matching 2 level 2s to a level 3, which the Stoics pan can't do. So each opponent has a range of scores they can get. That range is pretty well known to if you play the game enough times, you can get a good feel for the range. That was the first judge with 2 battles. As you get into some of the battles with 2 and even 3 judges, some of the ranges can get quite large, and it actually becomes difficult to tell where they're going to score. You can take some riskier strats to try to save some time, but you're putting yourself at the mercy of RNG there, trying to do that. I will be taking mostly safe strats and getting to the very, very high end of these ranges, if not above them entirely. So this is where... Oops. This is where having the pan or the satchel unequipped is a time save. We need to collect 10 items, and that is because we don't have any extra bags. If we had an extra bag equipped, that would be 12 items, and we're going to have to do this 3 times. We've got a little miniature Restaurant Rush chapter. This is only a handful of items. I didn't actually see that coming, and we're done. So we kind of got kicked out of the tournament for throwing our weapons in town, trying to break up a fight. We were trying to do the right thing, but it backfired. So now we're back home. Mom's mad at us that we stole her money, ran away from home. What? Oh, man. Not the best combat section. What? Did I only get 9? How did that happen? Not sure how that happened. That's okay. As you can see, some of those monsters were moving much faster than they were early in the game. There's a blight affecting the monsters now, and some of them are giving us broken gems, like you can see there. If you move them too many times, they break. We also have poison. The poison is a big negative score, but you can match 3 of them and kind of unlock the flavor potential in the poison and upgrade a gem straight to level 3. Yeah, I didn't I guess I must have missed it. I really thought I picked it up, but apparently it didn't happen. The big strategy here is to keep those piranha, the plants, try to keep them from eating the birds, or indeed the other ingredients. Oh, I'm one short. That's easier said than done. Those Chi-Chi move very quickly, and it's very difficult. This restaurant rush is completely optional. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit here and wait. That's not very good TV, so I'm definitely going to be doing stuff during this. Another good time for donations. This is 2 minutes of kind of lost time. Kind of an auto-scroller, as it were. I am using this time, though, to practice. I have a restaurant rush where I'm going to try to get all of the money I need, basically, in one go. I'm going to need to get about... These are getting kind of difficult because you can see the broken gems are kind of in the way. They'll break and make things really awkward, or indeed impossible if you're not careful. Basically what I'm doing at this point is just trying to... See, this is actually really annoying. I'm just trying to recognize patterns. There's only so many different patterns that they use for each restaurant rush, but which one you get each pan is random. But it's not like I'm getting patterns I've never... or requests that I've never seen before. It's just I don't know which one's coming next or what the board is going to look like when I get there. Some of them are doable in one, like that one. Some of them are not. Oh, I need to be over here when the cutscene ends. For all of the issues with that chapter 3, we're not losing much time off the world record this particular run. But there's a lot of time to save there, and a lot of annoying... That Piranha and Chi-Chi movement are really annoying and really tough to deal with. So we're back in Brigade Town. We were invited back to help try to solve the monster blight. Got a couple more cutscenes before we get back into the regularly scheduled action. The text is automatically skippable by just holding the button. I'm not mashing through the text. That was a feature added with the deluxe expansion. Having the text be just skippable just by holding it instead of having to mash through it is a big help. You do still have to mash through some things, like the day-to-day transitions where it shows the date. You still have to mash through that. On the chapter transitions, you have to mash through that. But that's not too bad. So we're back. We are part of the C team, and we're battling Shiv, and our instructions are to use blighted monster ingredients as our theme ingredient. That doesn't actually exist in the code, or at least not in this battle, so all we have to do is serve them whatever we want. We can make whatever we want, so we're just going to cook down those starter ingredients, match the flavors, and that's going to be good enough. The next battle is pretty much the last one where we can get away with only using the starter ingredients, not doing anything else. When you're doing the hard mode, you have to get a little more. You can't just use the starters, but you don't actually need that much more. You know, it's not like I'm skipping 10 minutes of puzzling per, like I would need to use the full time to get the points. The points are actually pretty close to the normal mode run after a few battles, rather. We hear that little jingle, that little piano jingle. That's my cue to start mashing, basically. Oop. Whoa. There's a sound. I'd never heard that sound effect there before. Did I just accidentally buy something? I don't think I accidentally bought something. Anyway, this is a hunt we are doing because it is very short. All I need is 5 ingredients. And there they are. 1 tomato, 2 berries, and the ingredients from the chest. If the chest only has 1 sauce, there's a king bean right there. No, you're watching the run that might end up getting submitted. I'm going to do a couple and see which one I like better. I do need to remember to equip the stuff that I got, but I don't need that until the next fight. So we're just going to cook down the starter stuff again. Gonna grab this king bean. Whoa. Not my best movement there. Ooh, dear. I was right there and I just dropped the bean. You want to practice couch questions? Go for it. So RNG in this game, there's a good deal of RNG in the game, but most of it doesn't affect the run. So which ingredients drop from a monster are random, except for the big one, except for the dragon and hydra. Which sauces are in the chest is random, which matters for 2 of our fights. And also the puzzles in the restaurant rush are random, and I just have to react to those as they come. Other than that, the judges are all the same every run. The theme ingredients are all the same every run. So as far as that goes, there's no RNG. We try to mitigate as much of it as we can. There's a couple instances where we can. So we're going to fight Quetzal and her magical automaton T-Bot, and I have to remember to equip this stuff. If I don't equip that stuff by that battle, that is kind of a disaster. So, it's not a genuine... It's a world record attempt running, and any mistakes that we make are pretty correctable and aren't going to make a big difference time-wise in the grand scheme of things. Maybe a minute or so. That is a good question. How optimized, how solved is this run? That's kind of a tough question. There's a lot of decisions to make. As far as our routing decisions, especially here coming up soon with some of the things that I'm going to do / not do. Well, if I could grab the ingredients. This one dropped a double. That's really unfortunate. I need 2 Cragmore pieces, and I need my ingredients for my famous candle gourd soup, which is 3 candle gourds, 1 lantern fruit. So here's how you make candle gourd lantern fruit soup. Candle gourds go here, just like that. Match the poisons, match the waters, match the fires. Let that cook down for a little bit. Once you've reduced that, move the fire over here, drop the lantern fruit, and the combo pan timers will go off. The combo pan's a very powerful piece of equipment. If you get several matches in quick succession, you get little upgrade timers, same as with the poison earlier, and those will upgrade an ingredient up a level without a match. So I upgraded 4 gems from level 2 to level 3 which is a net increase of 80 points. Just as a bonus. So as far as how much leeway in the route, I'm not really sure. There's definitely something to be said for what I could do is that hunt that I did is potentially skippable. I could potentially skip that hunt I did and just try to get even more out of this restaurant rush. That would save 30 seconds or so. There's some different hunts and puzzles that are also pretty quick that you could do instead. There's something to be said for a route that we're going to be buying 2 expertise books. There's something to be said for a route that only uses 1. We're going to equip the tea that Quetzal gave us, gives us 4 mana, and the bear that Simon just gave us, which inexplicably lets us hold additional things. We don't need them for this one, but we will need them for upcoming ones. The judges are now starting to request multiple flavors in the same dish. You need to get equal amounts of them. So the flavor requests have always been most tier 3 or level 3 gems of the specific flavor or color. And with these judges requesting fire and earth and fire and water, you need equal amounts of both. Again, I have that routed out to get there right as they open. Again, where the enemies spawn, not really that random. I just landed in between the two. Picked up neither ingredient. They spawn in generally the same area. We're gonna match the wind fruit. So match this, match this. This. Put that down. And these are done, I just have to assemble them. Turn them in. So the different stages, there are, if you go play the daily mode or the survival mode, there are 4 stages. We only see 3 of them as far as actual arenas go. There's a Dark Realm stage. We will go to the Dark Realm and do something there, but it's not the same as the one in the daily. And the different fighting moves, I believe I use all of them. I'm pretty sure I do. You can't get additional moves. There's no additional purchasable moves. But the main moves, she's got daggers. She's got a bunch of different combos depending on if you're in the air or not. And there's just some different, like, sequences you can do. Like, different combos you can do with different numbers of button presses. That have different useful uses. So this is the day of the big restaurant rush. This restaurant rush inexplicably pays double, and it's very difficult. So I'm going to see what I can do. Oops. Oops. Okay. Oh. Green. Some of them are still doable in one match, but I have to be careful with which rotations I do. If I do the wrong one, I could potentially lock myself completely out of being able to complete the puzzle at all. No, that's wrong. Breaking gems doesn't matter unless it ruins everything. I'm sure there's a better way to do that one. Green, blue, red, green. I do kind of talk to myself during this sometimes to try to... this one. Oh. I was gonna rotate that one. Oh well. Blue, red, green, blue, red, green, red, blues. Oop, that's fine. There. That's better. That's not where I thought that was gonna match. I've got a lot of those that didn't match where I thought they would. One more. Got it. Alright. That should be enough. That was pretty good. That was way more than enough. That is enough where I could have skipped the hunt. If I had completely not done the hunt, I still would have had enough money. I need 140, and I have 166. So what we just bought are our expertise books. This one is Speed. Speed sounds good in a speed run. The other one's Vegetarian. Both of them give us 75 additional points per dish where we meet the criteria. The speed criteria is for each dish that is 50 points at 1 minute into the battle or faster. And the vegetarian needs clearly no meat in the dish other than the theme ingredient. You can use the theme ingredient and still count as vegetarian, even if it's loopier. We're not actually going to kill any loop here, but... Nope. I need this. The slime is a bit of a hazard. It'll eat your ingredients and turn them into slime jelly. Kind of annoying. It's really annoying. And also, since we're going for speed, not ideal. We have plenty of time, though. We're just going to stick 2 lantern fruits in there. And we're just going to make the candlewort soup. We're not going to add the lantern fruit garnish this time. We're just going to kind of do a more basic version. And we're going to get to see the power of the expertises. Because all 3 of these dishes are going to get both expertises, and we're going to get a lot of points as a result. It starts as a 50-point dish without the theme ingredient, and we're going to turn it in for 180.
This'll do, I suppose.
And we're going to be doing it's all 3 of these.
Positively superb.
So work out a 427, which isn't bad, but we have books and just no match. The big innovation that I brought when I started running this to the community was only buying the vegetarian book. And I posed that buying the speed book in addition would probably be a net time save. And in these last few fights that have 3 judges each, there's just a massive amount of time you save by getting an extra 225 points basically from getting the speed expertise. So this is kind of the culmination of all Mina's work here in the Proving Tournament, is we have to go face Robuchon's Trial, the final 3. Named after famed French chef Joel Robuchon, who has the most Michelin stars in history. That's a lovely little touch that I liked. So I did go over that earlier. The variation on the enemy score. Some of them are higher than others. So we're fighting knife, spoon, and fork here. Fork in particular has a very high variation. And we'll go over that a little bit when the time comes. I need a water sauce here. It ate it. It ate my water sauce. What a jerk. Okay. That Chi-Chi can get me a water sauce as well. So that extra tea we got from Quetzal is going to let us throw an extra whirlwind out at this dragon It's a blighted dragon, as you can see. It's got, like, glowing. This dragon fight is pretty scripted, actually. It's pretty tricky to get a hang of when you're first starting playing it, but it's pretty much the same every time. So I'm going to grab this boss. Oops. I need all 4 of these tomatoes, so I need these Chi-Chis to not eat it for just a second. Thankfully, the starter ingredient, we made it 50 points right away, so we didn't have to worry about getting there in time. It was 50 points from the moment the thing started. So with these fights, the reason you might notice I grabbed 4 tomatoes, a king bean, and a water sauce. I didn't use them. The reason is, for the final 3, you get to keep your pantry from challenge to challenge. So I'm going to start this challenge with the 4 tomatoes, the king bean, and the water sauce I didn't use in the knife fight. And that is going to be enough to win the fight outright. He wants us to go kill an Armorok. Armoroks are a pain in the neck. They're tough, armored, they spin. They're completely invincible when they spin. They're just jerks. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to skip them. We're going to use the power of the books. That earth sauce is to mask that fire into water to match Rudis' flavor profile. And this should be enough. No, the only thing that gives you point are the gems. It's 1 point for level 1, 5 for level 2, 25 for level 3 gem. If you don't include the theme ingredient, you lose half your points. If you include a poison, an unbroken poison, you will lose 20 more points. But then, if you match their flavor ingredient, you gain 50 points. And then any expertise books, for us, vegetarian is worth 75, speed is worth 75. You might see some numbers less than 75 for vegetarian. There's an ingredient threshold. You need to include at least, I believe it's 4 ingredients to get the full 75 points. But speed does not have any impetus at all other than faster is better. So I'm going to grab a full pantry, an almost full bag. So Fork has one of the biggest ranges in the game. There's 3 dishes, and his range is about 50, meaning he can score plus or minus 50 over kind of a set average on each of his dishes. Did I grab 3 quarry caps? I didn't mean to do that. Put that one the wrong one. So we matched Thorn's flavor there. For safety, I could, in a marathon setting, switch over to the Earth. Switch over to the Earth starter ingredient to match Pontita's there. But this should be enough points on his own. But yeah, Fork here has a plus or minus 50 on his average across all 3 dishes. So he can actually be plus or minus 150 from his baseline average. So he's at 364, and I'm pretty sure that's below average.
I approve.
563. What am I at? 588. I messed that dish up. I should be over 600. So I put something in the wrong pan. I put the quarry cap in the wrong pan, and that cost me 30 points, I believe. If you die in battle, you are teleported back to the kitchen, and you just drop all your ingredients where you died. And you lose 30 seconds off of the clock. It doesn't take 30 seconds, but you just lose 30 seconds. So you might notice we're now a different character. We're gonna play a chapter as a big buff Thrash here. Where Mina is kind of a rogue type character, Thrash is definitely a berserker. We have to charge his sword here. Oh, give me that back. Oh. We charge his sword with 3 ingredients, and then we can go berserk into his berserker rage. He becomes incredibly fast. And incredibly powerful as well. We have to keep charging it by eating some ingredients. Oh. That little meter there at the bottom is his charge. It runs out, you reset to baseline Thrash, and you have to eat more ingredients to go into Rage. You don't have to go into Rage, but he's much faster and much stronger. We're going to challenge Caesar again. He starts with some extra ingredients, specifically that firefish. That orcish firefish is incredibly powerful. It's whereas the starter ingredients were 4 level 1 ingredients. These are 2 level 3 ingredients, but they're going to start coming with poison and bones. Bones are just things that get in the way. They don't do anything. They don't detract from your score, but they do get in the way. First battle, Sun had tomatoes, so we're just going to grab them. Another movement tech is hopping down these slopes. When you hop down slopes, you actually build momentum. It's really the only other way to build momentum on characters where you don't have a dash like Mina does. Thrash doesn't have any sort of movement tech other than his knee is kind of up at a diagonal. He just kind of moves straight ahead. Thrash also starts with the spicy expertise, so we get 50 additional points if we include 4 fire gems, regardless of what the flavor request is. So we're going to be pretty much making nothing but fire. He apparently has another spare pan to give to Thrash, which is awfully nice of him. So whereas Mina is a story about, finding herself, becoming her own person, leaving her parents' house, so to speak. Thrash is a love story. I need to buy stuff here. I need to buy a Mana Stone here, and this Berserk boost. This is for this little fighting section coming up. Thrash's wife has come down with an illness, and we need to gather the ingredients to cook up a cure. To do that, we have to kill a Yoku here in the Dark Realm. The Dark Realm was sealed off. Nobody's allowed to go in, but they grant an exception so that we can try to save... Oop, I need that. Hello? So we can try to save his wife. So I need to kill all the monsters in the Dark Realm. There's pretty much one of every monster. Whoa. That's the first time that's happened. Alright, where did that first go? Oh, there's that Cheap Cheap. Alright, that was actually pretty easy. Sometimes they can really be a pain in the neck. Oh, there's 2 monsters, man. There's the Lapizard and the... The Lapizard and the Armorock here. So the 2 items I bought are a Mana Stone, which gives us 3 extra mana, which is going to let us do these Fire Breaths, which are pretty powerful, just overall. They're pretty quick, and getting a couple more out is pretty good. And we also picked up a Berserk boost, so that we don't need to refill our blade as often. So we killed the Yoku, that giant black Cheep Cheep, and it dropped the hearts. The the legendary, basically, 3 hearts, and we're gonna make a cure for his wife. And absolutely nothing could possibly go wrong. As you may have guessed, something horribly has gone wrong. The hearts have been stolen. We're gonna try to make do with what we have. Just a little puzzling section. Like I said, the goal is just to keep stuff matching. The more stuff matches... Oop, I did that wrong. The faster it goes. I mean, it's definitely a speedrun for people who like puzzle games. I would definitely recommend playing the game. I love the story. I think it's a very... Just the attitude towards the whole story is great. I forgot to buy the jerky. Not the fire pot. You can cancel out if you buy the wrong thing. That's not ideal. I needed that beef jerky. I forgot to buy it when I was buying stuff for combat. It is a pretty easy speed run to get into. There's not a lot of... So whereas, you know, a speed run like Super Metroid is very technical. It's very much about individual inputs, like with very small frame windows. And this is not that kind of game. This is a game about routing and about execution. The execution is not, you know, frame perfect tricks or anything like that, but it is remembering what to do, not, you know, oops, and being able to recover from mistakes. Having a very strong grasp of the mechanics is good. It'll let you do things like the tutorial, the gathering ingredients for the tutorial, what to do if the wrong stuff drops. It'll help you out with that. But other than that, I do think it's pretty easy to get into. Oops. So, you know, this hasn't been a super clean run. We've had some mistakes. We've had some not great stuff. We're only 3 minutes behind the world record. For Thrash, we're not going to be doing any of the optional... There are additional optional puzzles and hunts and restaurant rushes to do. We're only going to do the ones that are required for the speedrun here. There is one little glitch. It's right here. We're going to jump right there. We skip a conversation. We skip a conversation where you get an item. And that saves us maybe a second. But it's the only thing that actually resembles a true glitch that actually results in a true time save. Much like the restaurant rush at Mina's house, this is completely optional and a complete time waste. Really just an auto scroll. I don't have to do any of this. I do have to do this. I can't just leave. I have to actually finish it. Usually I just go over here and sit inside this trash can here. I call it the thrash can. We sit and contemplate life and everything. Instead, I'm just gonna do some matching. Blue, green, blue. Ooh, that's fine. That's a weird shape. I don't usually do this restaurant rush. There's some different shapes in here that I'm really not used to. This is actually really tough. I'm glad I don't have to do this. That's not gonna work. I don't think that's doable at this point. I think I've ruined it. Yeah, there's no way I'm doing that one. Now is a good time for donations if you have any. I'm going to just ruin this really quick. There. He doesn't get food. So this is why this is such a disaster. If this happens in the important one, I'm just kind of stuck. I can't get additional dishes until this one is complete. If I were to complete this one, I'd get one immediately. Since we're not buying anything with Thrash, we don't need anything. We just don't care about this money. There's really nothing for us to buy that'll help. That is something that we could potentially route in. There could be something there that I'm just skipping, that we're just skipping. Oops. Little clumsy movement there on the puzzle. Like I said, ideally I want stuff to be matching all the time. I didn't quite do that second one right. Our second battle is right here. That's it.
Try me.
I don't have to equip anything. That's something I gotta remember. I don't actually need to equip anything. That's why I only buy 2 things, or 2 combat things, so I don't have to change any equipment. So basically, our hearts have, our magical hearts have been stolen by this out-of-work acting troupe. That's not a joke. That's literally who stole our hearts, is these out-of-work actors turned mercenaries. I forgot my route for a little bit there. I'm going to grab 2 Lapizar pieces. Oh, do not take my... Don't take my stuff! Just jump up to the ledge there just to get a little bit of a downward slope. The other item Thrash starts with is this oven I put it in. Ovens are one of the classes of items you can get in the game. Mina has access to a couple different ones. They slowly upgrade gems of a certain type. Mina's upgrade any gem, but do it slowly. Thrash's oven there upgrades only fire gems, but does it quite quickly. So we're going to be taking advantage of that a little bit as well. The ovens are good, and I had considered routes with them, but it takes a little bit of time to get them, and just doesn't save us any. Doesn't really save us enough time. So we got 2 out of 3 hearts. For some reason, these actors have some sort of code where they can only give up 1 essential plot point each day. So we're going to have to come back for the next one tomorrow. Thrash is just sitting there pacing in his room. I do love the loading screens have the different dishes on them. I have not talked about the fireworks. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get the fireworks onto the GDQ computers. So I have talked with the devs. The devs have been very open in their in the Discord and on Twitter. Been great about giving and taking suggestions. I did, the daily challenges pretty much on a daily basis, gave my feedback on them. Thrash here's a little anger boy. We're going to have full berserk the entire time for the Squickle battle. But yeah, I've talked with them a lot. And they had a nice competition in their Discord. A few different competitions for the release of this expansion. And one of the prizes was this DLC for these fireworks that you see when the monsters explode. dragon fight, 3 fireballs, a counter, jump over, and then you give him the old 1-2. Another squickle piece, and I'm going to grab 2 king beans for safety. These king beans are something you can skip. It will save you time. That's the wrong one. It's this. This one. King bean, king bean. This one goes here. That is the wrong way to do this. Okay, so now what am I gonna do? What I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna improvise here. And I'm gonna hope that this is enough points, because I meant to do it to get me this 50 extra points here. I meant to do this in a way that would match the fire and earth flavor as well. That's why I grabbed the king beans. I didn't get it quite right, so I'm just gonna have to turn it in as is. I made sure to get the spicy expertise on all of them instead. Like I said, this is a case where, you know, things didn't go quite right. So I had to think on my feet. I forgot to pop that poison, for example. Lost 20 points. That's a low Dio score. I should be fine. Yeah. Dio is another fight where he can have a huge range. His range is something like 450 to 620 or something like that. Maybe 450 to 600. So I had to think a little bit. Ended up just kind of going with what I had. Decided not to get extra stuff. And we've gotten our 3 hearts back. Belchior has made the cure for our wife. We're going to go save her. Yeah, the fireworks are just fun. They're just fun little DLC. I've been told that it just calls it... the game just calls it from the same addresses, basically, so it doesn't actually introduce any lag. So we just use it just for fun. So we've rescued our wife, we've saved her from her disease, we've brought her back to Brigade Town, and our wife is Thrash's final boss. We're gonna have to fight her in a cooking battle with our kids as judges. And tacobellies is our theme ingredient. I'm gonna pretty much do the same dish. The same 2 dishes. Since I don't have infinite, I don't have, got a double there. A double would have been great elsewhere. Since we don't have infinite rage, I did have to gather it there. It's the same dragon fight, 3 fireballs counter, jump, 1-2, 1-2, and collect. Same thing. I'm gonna grab these king beans. The counter move is what Thrash has instead of the dash. It's very powerful, but it's kind of... When you're used to Thrash just dashing everywhere, or Mina just dashing everywhere, having a move that actually just makes you stop for a second is a bit jarring. The different characters have different cuisines. They're kind of regional, as you would think of them in this world. Thrash is Latin America, Mexico, Latin America. His wife Artie is actually more South American. Mote, that little drink is like a Chilean specialty. Hey, it's our first time game in a while.
Thrash is there is
No, I do not get minus 50 points because it's not mac and cheese. It's serve dragon nuggets, basically. So they're okay with that. Alright, so we're back in Brigade Town with Mina to tie up loose ends. We've, through our powers combined, we've discovered who's behind the blight. It's Rixel. Rixel, you can actually talk to him in the thrash section. Ooh. So for this, I'm going to use the whirlwinds more as a stun lock. Oops. Than anything else. The goal is to just try to keep the Yoku in hit stun the whole time. Through the whirlwinds or through your combos. Judicious use of the whirlwinds and also Mina's teleport move. I did use it. I didn't really explain it. I did show it off in the Skylands. She has a nice little teleport move that would kind of teleport you behind the nearest enemy. That is theoretically the fastest movement, but it's very tough to control where you go. So this is the final battle. We've arrested Rixel. He's demanded a trial by cooking, because of course he has. And we are going to gather the ingredients. This is different from other maps. There's a lot less stuff available fruit-wise than there are in other maps. Or in other versions of the caverns, even. So it's actually kind of tough to get the stuff you want. You have to be very particular with the ways to make starting dishes. So I can't make the soup right away. I will be making the soup. But in order to get to 50 points, the dishes do continue cooking even if you're off screen. To get to 50 points, I kind of had to do that setup with a single gourd and lantern fruit. Oops. So the theme is Hydra. We are going to have to kill the Hydra. Well, we're not going to have to kill the Hydra. We're going to have to use Hydra, though. I'm going to need 4 Hydra pieces. Or, well, I really only need 3, but... Ooh. Mina's dash is completely iframes. I actually need to drop one of those. I picked up one too many ingredients. I need 2 quarry caps here. So I need to match all 3 judges' flavors. So I have the water matched already from the water starter. Here's the earth. I'm going to deposit a hydroneck. That is done. I'm going to deposit 2 hydronecks here. That is done. And I'm now going to make my candle gourd soup. I have enough left over to make it. Oop. Gotta be very particular with how you stir it. I don't know why I did that. That's wrong. Should have just left it there. You can pull the ingredients out of a combo pan early, and it'll just automatically finish the combo. And it'll automatically place the upgrade slots where they normally go. Those aren't RNG. I know exactly where they're going to go. And it'll finish the combo. We're aiming for a score of 900, and we served a couple dishes that started with a value of about 50. 87. So we're really relying on our books to carry us through. You can drop ingredients. You can drop 777, super low. That's a super low result. Rixel can score over 900 on this fight, so we need to get a score over 900, and we did. And time is on this victory screen with a 954. So that run was 107.48, about well, as you can see, 3.5 minutes over world record there. I don't know what I'm comparing against here. Okay. Complete. I'm not really sure why we do time on that victory screen instead of this victory screen. I'm really not sure. But that's it. That's the normal mode of Chef Brigade. Nice little puzzle game. Has some action elements. I think it's a great fit for a puzzle game block or an indie game block. We might be able to get developer commentary, might be able to get, we'll have several people on the couch who are pretty knowledgeable. One of the other runners is planning on attending. So we got a lot going on. I think it's a great little game for him, and I'm just super happy to show it off. So thanks for watching, and if you got any questions, let me know, and hope to see you there. So, oops.